Okay.
All right.
Hello, everybody. We're here
Aloha.
again for another podcast. How's everybody doing? Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lauren.
Okay, so after our last conversation and the little bit we talked about that amazing wall of sort of protest art that sort of climbing up that fence that was set up in front of the White House over the summer, we kind of talked a little bit about this idea of a random act of art. And so I wanted to chat today about the question, why are random acts of art so powerful? And I think in order to do that, the first thing we have to do is define what a random act of art is. So you want to start there, Lisa?
Well, I think there's two components to it, right? You have the person that's giving the random act of art, and then you have the receiver. You have that person or several people that just stumble upon the random act of art. So for me, it begins with the creator who's like, but you know what? There's no what's the word? There's no, like, you don't get anything from it. You can't, there's no expectations. You can't be like, I'm going to make a random act of art and I want to have this happen, right? So you got to create the art, and it's really about random acts of kindness too. It comes from a place of pure like intentionality. Like you just want to give, you want to, like, I read something that was so cool today. Where's the little thing? It said something like, make kindness the norm, and then like art will just appear on the scene, and then it gives somebody assistance, and then it's mysterious. No one knows where it came from, and it really creates a positive impact on that person's day or people's day. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. Yeah, I would define a random act of art two ways, maybe more than that. So as an artist, like you were talking about, you have this notion of sort of letting go of your art and then letting it be in the world in a way that maybe it's not quote unquote normally placed in the world. And so it's out in the public place without a plan. It's not planned public art. It's not planned live gallery or live music performance. It's a random music performance. It's a random work of street art or something of that nature. And it's not to say that the artist doesn't plan. There's definitely plans going into the random act of art because if you're a street performer, you want to find the place that has the best audience potential for you, I'm sure, or interaction or acoustics. If you're a street artist that wants to create some sort of artwork on a wall somewhere, that takes some planning as well, some secret planning too. So that, to me, the random part of it is that it's not commissioned, let's say, by someone to do it. It's that it's placed in a random spot that you're kind of not necessarily being asked to do it. And then the second component is that, and this can involve, to me, a planned work of art, that the viewer randomly comes upon the art. They turn a corner and they're not expecting art to be there, and it's there. And so it feels different than if you make the choice to walk into an art gallery or walk into your local coffee shop and knowing that there's going to be art on the wall. Because there are planned temporary works of art.
Absolutely.
Me are still random acts of art.
They are.
Makes sense.
It's like Andy Goldworthy, the environmental artist, right? And I was doing those for a while too, the tree shrines, where I would create works of art around trees. And it wasn't, I had a plan. I know that I wanted to honor nature, but it didn't matter who was going to show up. And it was so cool. But that's what Andy Goldworthy does as well. He creates nature and some random strangers hiking in the woods, and oh my God, what is this?
Yeah. So why is that powerful? Why is something that the viewer's not planning to see, or there's not necessarily a plan in place for it to the artwork to be there? Why is it powerful? Like, let's talk about, why is it powerful for the artist? Why would an artist choose to do that? Why would an artist choose to create a random work of art? And then why is the experience for the viewer powerful?
Well, I think it is about kindness for the artist creating, and it's also about making a difference, making the world a little better. And I was thinking of the why. It's like we are so inundated with bad news. You know what I mean? Bad, doom. What do you call it? Doom scrolling. It's like,
Yeah.
and then to just have a random. It's a sweet, kind gesture. Just, I'm walking, I walk this path every day, say I get my coffee or whatever. And then all of a sudden one day there's a little sculpture hanging from the tree. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. It shifts your perspective as the viewer or the receiver of the artwork. So in a way it's, I mean, in its way, I mean, there's two components, in a way it's more like random acts of kindness. It's also about like street art is more about political,
Mhm.
we were the Black Lives Matter. We had a conversation about that, murals popping up. That's a statement, or a Banksy, a
Yeah.
Banksy but it's still random. And it's the artist has to be a little, how do I say this in a good word? Like a trickster. You know what I mean? You got to have a
Mhm.
little, like a little playfulness in you that you want to surprise somebody to receive this artwork with nothing. You don't need anything back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's interesting that that you say that the artist is giving something with no expectation of something in return. It's a very different model
Oh
for
yeah.
art, right? Because
Hmm.
generally speaking, you hang your work up in a gallery, and not
Hmm.
that there's not pleasure from that or anything like that, but you hang it, someone buys it, and you have the potential to have a conversation with that person.
Right. Right.
When you're creating a random work of art like street art, I'm thinking of like the knitting that happens, midnight knitters knitting around a stop sign or something like.
Hmm. Yeah.
You don't have an idea of how many people will interact with that work of art and what they will sort of glean from it, right? I do think that your hope is either that it will get someone to stop and think about something that you believe
Right.
is important, or
Right.
it will spread this notion of just like a nice thing, just
Yeah.
an extra smile to someone's day.
Yeah.
Um, so that brings me to just a couple of types of random art that I really enjoy.
Mhm.
Flash mobs I think are insanely awesome. And just because it's like it's kind of awkward to be in, like, to witness one. It's, I just imagine it'd be really fun to be in one.
Right.
um and it's, I mean, it's what you and I always want to do. We just want to snap someone out of their normal routine. That's why we create the projects we create.
Mhm.
We're just trying to shift and
Yeah.
just get you to see the world in a different way, or just like maybe snap you out of something that you might just be churning in for a little while, and I think street performers do that. Like, one of my favorite things to do is hear an instrument from far away, and then
Yeah.
you feel it getting closer and closer and closer and closer,
Hmm.
you know and street art's like that too, that notion of just walking and turning a corner and then just having something sort of light it up a little bit, uh,
Right.
or bringing your attention to something that you're like, that maybe you need to pay attention to, that you've just, life has sort of made you not, you know
Yeah, and I think we always talk about this. It's a continuous theme that art is really a bridge. So these random acts of art are a bridge into what may seem like the unknown. Because, right, you do a random act of art, you don't know how many people you affect. You don't really know how you make them feel. But so it's kind of, but it becomes a bridge. And you're right, it might spark something within you that's like, oh, I never thought of that, or oh, I need to stop and smell the roses, which is a big one.
Yeah. I think a lot of street art is like that. So like one of them that I really like, her name is Rachel Sussman.
Hmm.
She created, I'm not going to say this correctly, it's called Sidewalk Kintsukuroi,
Oh.
Kintsukuroi, which is the Japanese translation, because Japanese fix ceramics using gold
Yes, yes.
in the seals, and that's the process of doing that. She did it with cracks in the
Mm,
street. She filled the cracks in the street with gold, and it's just like, that's so random. Like, to me, that's so random, but it's so beautiful at the same time, and it's so complex. It's such a
Right.
simple thing, but like just imagine yourself walking, and to me it's that where you're like, what is that? And then you have to take the time
Mhm.
to try to figure out what it is, and you
Right.
have to stop and breathe and open your mind, right? Like you were saying, to this something else, and then you see the world in a different way. And I know there's a lot of artists that use miniatures,
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
artists that create worlds in the cracks of walls, or just tiny little figures on the sidewalk that you could step on. Um,
Right.
but you might see the world in a different way, by doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
and also I think it's really intrinsic to us as humans that we are at our base very altruistic, meaning we want to give, we want to
Yeah.
give back. And I think a lot of artists that do the random acts of art are also wanting kind of like pay it forward. Like, I did this, I put the tree shriner on the tree, and maybe you're going to do something like that. Just pay it forward. Maybe it inspires you, which we always want people to do, to take a random act of art break, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Yeah. So what do you have any other random acts of art that
Well, I actually discovered
favorite?
a really cool book on Amazon. It's called The Art of Abandonment Project: Create and Share Random Acts of Art. Um, and it's a paperback, but it's by Michael DeMung and Andrea Mattis. But it's kind of like a how-to if you are interested in this. It's like learn the ins and outs of being they call it an abandoner. So you abandon your art, which is
Yeah,
basically what a random act is, because
totally.
you don't go and take it back,
Right.
right?
You right, and you leave it. You let go of control of
Right.
well, which I think is an interesting notion that we
And
might
then
have.
it says in this book, get ideas and inspiration for monthly abandoning challenges. So you could work with friends, family,
Nice.
and neighbors, which is so cool. And then see examples of abandonment art. And then, like you just said, receive helpful encouragement to let go of your creations.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's at hand. And then connect with the movement. There's a big movement. So I thought that was a cool thing to bring to the conversation, that there's actually manuals out there that you can that can help you if you need inspiration, right? So
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Another one that I like is guerrilla gardening. And so
oh yeah,
it's started by someone in London, uh,
yeah,
Richard Reynolds, uh, who basically would plant flowers in the middle of the night, um, in those midways between roads, I guess, that maybe the city was just abandoning,
the
right?
urban blight, right?
Yeah, and he decided to start taking care of it, and now he has a book basically called Guerrilla Gardening. So if you're interested in fixing a part of the city that you think the city is ignoring, or just, I mean, what an awesome surprise that would be for someone who sort of walks by the same place or drives by the same place every day, to wake up one day and see it just full of flowers. Like, it's like dirt one day, and
Right.
then the next day it's flowers. That's that would put a smile on someone's face. Yeah. And me, I have to mention Candy Chang.
Oh
She's one
yeah,
of my absolute all-time favorite artists, because she kind of encompasses all the things I love to do in my own personal art, which is basically the viewer finishes the artwork, the
right.
artwork the experience itself. I maybe the one that people might know right off the bat is the Before I Die, and
Yeah,
she did it on basically construction was being done, and she just painted over it and put up a chalkboard that said Before I Die, and people fill in the blanks, and it's
yeah.
just a beautiful way of connecting people in a community, and then the artist and the viewer, and just like you were saying, just the letting go process as an artist, because she has no control over what's going to happen to the artwork once she kind of presses the go button. So
But I
yeah.
think the beautiful, I saw her at the Annenberg Center here in Los Angeles, and just amazing, just her like her vision and her mission about it. But it's really also about, for me, it's like, you know what, we're all the same on so many levels, and we forget about it. And we forget about that, even that question, before I die, like we all have that conversation. We all have
Yeah,
that
we're
that
all connected with that. I mean, there's no, you know
it's it's a commonality, and I think for some reason we always forget about the commonality between us. That we,
Yeah.
we're all pretty much made of blood, and we all fear death.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I mean, for her, random act was it's beautiful because it becomes then the tapestry of human existence, like how what we are interconnected, and we all have the same conversations. We all have these same.
And maybe that's the real art, right? That we're all connected.
There you go. So
Yeah.
I heard from someone that you're going to do an art break today.
Yeah, let's do an art break. So this, I actually got this from our art and love calendar that is up for February. And so it's just super easy. All you need is a piece of paper and some markers. You'll eventually need scissors, but don't worry about it now. Obviously, if you're not in a position where you can take an art break right now, come back later and take an art break. Obvious, of course, we always want to take an art break. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of paper and draw, just draw hearts on it. So, just don't have them intersect, make them separate from each other. So I'm going to draw like 4 hearts.
All right.
Because I can fit 4 hearts on my piece of paper.
All right.
Okay. So here's my 4 hearts. Just really starting really simple.
Okay.
And then inside the hearts, right, if you have like a favorite quote about love that you kind of think of, you can put that inside the hearts.
Okay.
Like short, really positive messages like keep going, or you've got this, you're amazing, or just a smiley face even. Just kind of pick whichever you feel like and put it inside the heart.
Okay.
I'm digging the smiley face right now, so I'm gonna put a smiley face in one of my hearts.
I did be love.
Be love. I love that.
It's kind of like those little Valentine's Day candies that you get, right?
Yeah, it's kind of modeled after that. Exactly. So you fill that in with your nice quote or motivation. And then obviously you can spend as much time you fill in around the heart, inside the heart, and anything you want to do. And then, so this, that's really simple. And if you want to stop there, that's cool. But if you want to go around with decorating the inside of the heart, the outside of the heart, whatever you're feeling to do, you can do that. I would say, Lisa and I would say probably you need to spend at least 5 minutes on an art break to kind of really feel it.
Get the benefits.
Yeah. And then.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay.
So, take your time to do that. And then after that, you can either cut it out like a shape of a heart, or cut it out like if you've decorated the outside of the heart, cut it out like a square. And then what I want you to do is I want you to randomly give it to someone. So that's where the random act of art comes in. So tape it on your neighbor's door, or if you go somewhere where, you like a parking lot, put it on someone's windshield. Or Lisa and I have been delivering things to little libraries. We've been delivering free packets. Put it in a little envelope and drop it off at a little library and surprise someone when they're going to get a book the next time. So that's just a really simple way to both take an art break and create a random act of art, because it's obviously a powerful experience to do it as an artist and then to receive it as a viewer. Yeah.
Sweet. Mine's kind of.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, bliss. Yes.
I like a winged heart, because I'm kind of into Sufism, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be love. Yes.
Be love.
All right.
And that's a beautiful intention for February, as you're right.
Yes.
The love
spread some love, spread some kindness, spread some art. I like it.
All right, random act of art. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this. And next time we're gonna have a special guest. I just wanted to tell everybody about this. Her name is Rae Luskin. She's a art activist I would say, or an artivist. She has an amazing story, so she's going to be on our podcast on the 15th. February 15th.
Yep,
So,
2 weeks. All right.
all right.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.